Don't buy into the mainstream narrative. The Great Reset is the thing, and they are using COVID-19 to push it. This book here, written by Klaus Schwab, lays everything out. This book came out 6 months after the start of the COVID pandemic. It was released July 2020, which is this year, what's left of it, because it's December. But like I said, this is proof enough that they're trying to use COVID-19 to push the Great Reset. Welcome back, everyone. I'm a.k.a, and today we're going to be talking about the 15 things that you should be doing to prepare for 2021. If Joe Biden is the Great Reset candidate that we all think he's going to be, you want to make sure that you're prepared for the years to come. Now, the first thing that you should have, and this should be really a no-brainer, is at least a 90-day supply of food. Now, think about it if you go to the grocery store, and this happened earlier this year, and the shelves are bare. You want to make sure that you start going and building up that 90-day supply now, just in case there is a food run or some sort of emergency. And this way, if there is a lockdown and you're unable to go and get food, you have stuff on hand. And these are the items you should at least have a 90-day supply of. The number one thing on the list is rice and beans. And the reason why you want rice and beans is because together they make a complete protein. The number two item on the list is canned meat. Now, you want to make sure that you get a variety of stuff. You want to make sure that you pick up things like tuna, chicken, salmon. If Spam is your thing, Spam, Vienna sausages, you kind of get the idea. Make sure that you do have that variety and you pick up things that you actually do like, because if you don't, well, your life's gonna be living hell if all you have is a 90-day supply of Spam. I don't care what you say. Spam is terrible. Also, you want to make sure that you start building up a healthy supply of canned vegetables as well as canned fruit, and that's why they are numbers 3 and 4 on the list. Number 5, you should at least have a variety of soups as well as chili. Number 6, make sure that you have flour. I suggest having both all-purpose as well as bread flour, because this gives you the ability to go and use it for a variety of things. If you want to go bake a loaf of bread, you have the bread flour on hand. Number 7 is sugar. Obviously, there's a lot of practical uses for sugar, specifically when it comes to cooking as well as sweetening drinks. Number 8 is salt. Salt is very important because it helps you retain water, and it's also something that your body does need. Obviously, salt can be used to enhance the flavor of food as well as preservation, such as canning. Now, number 9, we have ramen. Ramen comes in a wide variety of flavors. Me, personally, I really like the shrimp ramen. And you can use this in combination with some of your canned meats to actually make a pretty decent meal. Honestly, ramen is supposed to be eaten with other things, so it's always a good idea to have something to go and put into it. Number 10 is coffee and tea. Make sure that you have coffee and tea on hand. God knows I live by my coffee, and I need to have it every single morning, because if not, well, you guys kind of see the bags under my eyes. I don't get enough sleep. Now, number 11 is powdered drink mix. This is important because if you're just drinking water, coffee, and tea all the time, it's nice to have variety. This can include things like Gatorade, Tang, any kind of like powdered punch mix, or Crystal Light, Hawaiian Punch, Kool-Aid, things like that. This allows you to also, if you have some water that doesn't exactly taste the greatest, you can use that to make it taste a little bit more, well, palatable. Number 12 is honey, and honey can be used in a variety of different ways. It is such a versatile foodstuff. You can obviously use it as a sweetener, as well as make alcohol out of it. Number 13 is peanut butter. Peanut butter is just an amazing food. It is very protein rich, and there's a lot of calories in that. And if you're in a situation where you need calories, peanut butter is kind of your go-to. Number 11 is powdered milk. Make sure you have that on hand. It is actually pretty useful. You can do a lot of different things with powdered milk besides just have it in cereal. You can actually make butter from powdered milk. I have no idea how this is done, but it's something I'm actually kind of interested in finding out how you can do. And number 15 is broth, because you can use this for obviously a wide variety of cooking things. Now, these are just like the top 15 things that I have on this list. Obviously, there's more things you can go and add, and this doesn't include anything that you would put in your refrigerator or your freezer. Also, make sure that you have a nice, healthy supply of meat that has been stashed away in your freezer that you go and cycle through. Now, the second item on this list that you want to make sure that you start building up a supply of before 2021 is water. Obviously, you can't live 3 days without water, so you want to make sure that you have plenty on hand. Now, you can go to the store and pick up some bottled water, but when it comes to storing bottled water, it's kind of a pain, and you're better off going and picking up some stackable storage containers. Now, these come in a wide variety of sizes, ranging from 7 gallons to 50 gallons to 120 gallons. And you want to make sure that your 90-day supply accommodates everybody in your household, including your pets. Speaking of pets, the number 3 item on the things you need to make sure that you have for 2021 is a 90-day supply of pet food. Not just you need to have food, but your pets do as well. Whether it's your cat, your dog, your fish, or your birds, make sure that they have food as well. The number 4 thing on the list is medication. You should at least have a 90-day supply of your prescription medication. In addition to that, you should also make sure that you have at least a pretty decent supply of over-the-counter drugs. This should include things like cough medicine, things for headaches and pain, ibuprofen, Tylenol, vitamins, things that if a member of your family happens to get sick and you go to the store and it's all out, or you're in a lockdown situation, you want to make sure that you have these things on hand to be able to treat somebody that's in your family. Number 5 is a medical kit. Everybody should have at least bare minimum a first aid kit at home. Now, what I have here is an IFAK. This is something you can go and pick up at any Army surplus store. And these are usually used to treat wounds. I have 3 of these. I keep 2 in my Jeep, and I have 1 at the house. The other thing I have here is a medical kit that I put together myself. I bought the bag off of Amazon, and most of these supplies I got from Chinook Medical. You can go to their website. If you just Google Chinook Medical, you can go and find out what they have. This right here is the med pack, and it has a lot of different things in it, like ibuprofen, hydration powder, other things to kind of like treat symptoms. This one is the burn pack. So this is used to treat kind of, wounds, burn wounds. So it has like, gloves, burn gels, dressings, gauze, and tape. And the other thing I have here, this is a wound kit. So this is used obviously for treating wounds, things that are pretty bad. On top of that, I also recommend that you get training to know how to use these things, because if you don't, well, it's kind of useless. And the other things I went and picked up, and I got these also off of Amazon, are Israeli bandages. Number 5 item on the list is flashlights. It's always a good idea to have a flashlight with you at all times, because you never know when you might actually drop something on the floor. Let's say it rolls underneath the desk at work, and you need to go and find it. Now, this is the Phoenix E12. I've had this for a number of years. It's been sitting in my pocket sometimes, and it actually gets turned on, the battery dies, but I always make sure to keep this on me at all times, because you never know when it's handy. The other thing I have several of are mag lights, and the reason why is because, well, mag lights are great because not only is it a flashlight, but you can pretty much beat somebody to death with this. This is the one I keep at the house, but I have another one that I also keep in my Jeep. The other type of flashlight you might be interested in getting is a headlamp, and the reason why is because you never know when you want to have your hands free, and the last thing you want is to have your hands be filled, occupied with a flashlight when you need to go do something. You could be repairing something, either trying to maybe find a circuit breaker. There's a wide variety of reasons why you would want to use a headlamp. They're pretty handy. This one here is a black diamond. I believe I picked it up at REI. And when you have flashlights, you want to make sure that you have batteries, which is the reason why these are number 7. It's always a good idea to make sure that any kind of device that you obviously requires batteries, you make sure you have them on hand. I have my D cells for my mag light, and pretty much I have double A's for most of my other flashlights, and sometimes they take triple A's as well. I always make sure I grab an additional set of double A's and triple A's whenever I go to the store. That way I have them on hand. The last thing you want to do is be left in the dark during a power outage. I also keep some in my car as well, because you never know, you might be out there, you break down, and the batteries that you have in your flashlight are dead. So you want to make sure that you have replacements. Now at number 8, you want to make sure that you have some sort of means to purify water. Now, this is something that's pretty neat. This is the GeoPress. And what you do with it is you fill this in with the dirty water. And as you can see, this has a very big filter. And what you do is you pour the water in here and you press it down and it fills up this container, and then you have fresh water. Now, this is something that I have for camping, and I also have this MSI water filter that I bought a number of years ago. It also fits my MSI bag. These are great for like hiking and camping and doing small quantities of water, but it's not exactly practical for home use. So that's where something like a Berkey comes in. Now, Berkeys aren't cheap, and I do recommend you get them because they are really good at filtering water. On top of that, I also have a Lifesaver jerry can, which is pretty neat. That's something I want to start keeping in the Jeep. That way, if you're out in the middle of nowhere and you need water, you just go and fill it up with water, and you basically press it out, and you have nice, clean running water. So you never know if something happens with your water source, municipal water. If it gets cut off, you want to make sure that you have something to go and filter dirty water. Now, I recommend having an alternate means to be able to cook your food, and this is the reason why this is number 9. So if the power goes out and you don't have gas, or if you do have gas and it's been shut off, you want to make sure that you have something either like a backyard grill or a Coleman stove or an MSI pocket rocket, something that will allow you to go and cook your food just in case the lights go out. Number 10, guns. Why? Because they're cool. Now, if you don't own a firearm, you really should, and you want to make sure you do this before the year is over with. And the reason why is because God only knows what kind of legislation that Joe Biden is going to try and do to gimp the Second Amendment. Now, this year alone, we've seen a record sales of firearms because of the coup, as well as the rioting. So if you don't have one, you should at least get one. At the very least, a pistol to go and defend yourself with. Now, in addition, you can use guns for going and hunting. That way, if you need to go and find food, you have the ability to go and shoot a deer or a hog or something like that. And the 3 that I recommend you get is at least a pistol, a long rifle, and a shotgun. Now, if you're having trouble finding a firearm at your local gun store or academy, there are a number of online resources that I recommend you can go and check out. The first one is Sportsman Outdoor Superstore. They have a wide selection of firearms. There's also Bud's Gun Shop, as well as Aim Surplus. Now, whenever you go and purchase a firearm online, it has to be transferred to a registered dealer. This is where you'll go and pick up the gun, and they will go and have you fill out the background check. Now that you've gone and you have a firearm, you want to make sure that you have ammunition to feed it. And I know right now ammo is very difficult to find, so if you go to your local academy or gun store and they're all out, there are also online resources that you can go and try and find things. Now, the other 3 websites where I told you can go and purchase firearms online also do sell ammo. So you can go and check out Sportsman Outdoor Superstore, Bud's Guns, as well as Aim Surplus. Now, you are going to be paying more of a premium there, and it does get quite expensive. But that's why there's a website like AmmoSeek. It allows you to go and find the best deal online for ammunition. And you can go and use like the quick search right here, or the quick select, or you can go and search for it. So let's say 9mm, go and search for that. And what it's going to do is it's going to pull up a list of online retailers where you can go and purchase ammunition. And the nice thing about it is you can see what you're going to be paying per bullet. And like I said, right now, we live in unusual times, so you're going to be paying a premium, but this is cheaper than $1 a bullet, let's say, off of Sportsman Outdoor. Now we start getting down to the very bottom of the list here, and at number 12 is personal hygiene items. Yes, this includes toilet paper, paper towels, and you want to make sure that you also have additional supply of toothpaste, toothbrushes, shaving cream, razors, baby wipes for the kids, and tampons for the ladies. And at number 13, and there's a reason why it's at the very bottom of the list, is precious metals. And the reason why you might want to invest in gold and silver is because if for whatever reason fiat currency just goes belly up, that you have a means to be able to go and trade and pay for things that you need. Also, it's just a good investment because the price of precious metals just goes up over time. So it's not a bad idea just to go and buy some each pay period to just kind of bolster the diversity of your investments. Now, when it comes to going and purchasing precious metals online, I recommend JM Bullion. Whenever I go and I buy precious metals, this is where I go. And I typically pick up about 4 to 6 coins per pay period. And you should do so depending on what fits your budget. Now, the last 2 things on this list is you want to make sure that you go and arm yourself with as much knowledge as possible. Go and check out Joe Biden's campaign, see what he's promising that he's going to do. This will give you an idea of what he's trying to do in the years going forward. I recommend going and looking at what he's planning on doing with his gun policies because, quite frankly, they're frightening. And I also recommend learning more about the Great Reset. I do recommend going and picking up Klaus Schwab's book, COVID-19, The Great Reset, because, well, it essentially tells you what he's going to try to achieve using COVID-19 to accomplish his goals with the Great Reset. Of course, there's also the World Economic Forum's website. They have a lot of information on the Great Reset there. Obviously, knowledge is power, and you need to educate yourself and make sure that you know what is going, because this is the best way we can try and stop it from happening. Now, I got this book off of Amazon. It came in today. I haven't read it yet, but I'm actually looking forward to seeing how terrible this book is. And finally, at number 15, become an activist for your rights, because we want to make sure that we have the right to free speech and the right to bear arms, because all these things are so important. And this year, if it has taught me anything, there is definitely a war on Western civilization and Western values. Things like hard work, free speech, all these things. It is amazing because this is what the Great Reset is trying to undermine. And if you've been paying attention to the protests, such as Black Lives Matter, these are things that they're trying to undermine as well. Remember, they actually had it on their website that they are wanting to disrupt the nuclear family. Now, they have since removed it from their website because people started drawing attention to it. And obviously, that does not make them look good. And they have done a lot of damage control around these things. So make sure that you become an activist for your rights. This means going and writing to to Biden if he's elected, writing your congressman, your senator, your local city council. Get involved. Start a YouTube channel. Start speaking out against these things, and make sure that you are an activist for your rights. Well, that's all I have for today. Now, if you enjoyed this video, please go and make sure you hit that like button. If there are others out there that you think that would benefit from seeing this video, please go and make sure to share it with them. This is Ian, signing off.
Thanks for watching. If you're new to the channel, we have a deep content library that includes interviews with everyone from Mike Cernovich to Megan Murphy, so go check it out. If you'd like to see more, please consider supporting the show by visiting unsafespace.com/donate. You can find us on all the major social media platforms, at least for now, and you can find a community of like-minded individuals on our Unsafe Space chat on Telegram. See you there.
Warning. This is an unsafe space. Dangerous ideas have been detected. The content of this production has not been authorized by the Cathedral. pay no attention to it. For your protection, the following co-conspirators have been unpersoned and marked for cancellation.
大家好，
Welcome to very American social credit system.
祝好运。
Here's a fun fact. Voting incorrectly is now considered a willful act of sedition. If you think about it, no one should be allowed to express opinions. But don't. Think about it, I mean. That's not your job. Thinking has been scientifically proven to be less efficient than compliance. Did you know that research indicates that humans are the only species who prefer captivity? Computer voice courtesy. Never mind, that last line is fake news. Please disregard it and return to your safe space immediately. There will be cake.